The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
Get ready for some Mizzou gold on this show from Mickey Spagnola. It's time for Mick Shots, high noon on a Wednesday, Washington week here. Inside the SWBC podcast studio, Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and the man who wrote the book on this rivalry with Washington, Mickey Spagnola.
No, that's Old McDonald.
That's
nice
good.
little Missouri farm.
How's the farm?
I'm going out to chop some wood today. I'm splitting some logs.
For those not watching on DallasCowboys.com, just listening, how would you describe what Mickey has on today? It's
flannel.
flannel, plaid, gold, black, and there's some red in there too. It's very bright.
It's a yield sign.
Yes.
So you see me coming, you better yield.
So was this a Christmas present?
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay.
So he was forced to wear it.
And it was cold this morning.
And it's in honor of Missouri, right?
And they're playing the Hogs today or tonight.
Oh, basketball.
Yeah.
How's the ranking?
Arkansas is high.
No, Missouri.
They're 20th, but last week they beat Kentucky.
That's right. I saw that.
And they beat Illinois.
Okay.
So look out.
All right. Very good.
Is that the first time in a long time they've beaten two ranked teams?
No. But this first time in a long time they beat Kentucky for sure.
There you go.
Okay, so on that note, we'll have more on Norm Stewart and the Missouri Tigers coming up later on Big Shots. But let's get to the task at hand.
You guys brought it up.
No, you brought it up. You wore that.
Yeah.
Hey, there are football players going to be on a football field very soon here at the Star in Frisco.
Don't you love those days?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see just how much they do. If you watched, I saw yesterday there were teams that were supposed to practice, and I don't know how much they practiced. I saw a bunch of them shut down the locker rooms. I think it was Jacksonville had the offensive lineman. Is that where he's at? Sheriff?
Brandon Sheriff.
Sheriff. He was the kind of the spokesman for the team, and then they closed the locker room. So it'll be interesting to see what they do today. I think they were still debating.
And Jacksonville and Tennessee are playing on Saturday, and so that's why they had their locker room availability yesterday. And this is the first time for the Cowboys players to be back and with media availability coming.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how much. What everybody's going to be asked, right? And so I don't know how much they want to talk about it. I don't know if you guys listened to McCarthy, but they spent most of the team meeting discussing that, having the chaplain in there.
I was going to ask you if they had any type of...
and having the guys just kind of talk.
What about a psychiatrist?
Yeah, I don't know if Chad was there. But that's I think was his main goal this morning, was to take care of everybody and let everybody talk. And, this kind of brings up what happened with Marcus Paul. And that was only, 2 years ago, leading into the Thanksgiving Day game. And they didn't have much time to recover, by the way, because I believe it was Tuesday it took place, and they found out he passed away. It was before the game, I think. So they've been through this before. Not that this is the same, but I'm sure, these guys, I'm sure this has affected them.
Well, you recall, and like I said, I'm very pleased at the change in the temperature.
Yeah.
How people treat this now, how they treat athletes who are out there really putting themselves in danger every game. You remember Mike going down, Michael.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
I was there.
You remember the Philly fans?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and that was despicable.
Right.
Even then, that was despicable.
Right.
And so nowadays, I'm pretty sure, that climate is no longer exists.
And by the way, kudos to you, Bill, for bringing up Chuck Hughes yesterday. And I don't know if people saw it, but go to the Dallas Morning News. Brad Townsend did a really good story of this happening to Chuck Hughes and getting a hold of his wife, his son, and I believe it was either a brother or nephew. He interviewed.
He was from Abilene, I think.
Abilene, yeah, and talking to them about the memory, and they were talking about this brought. I mean, it's 51 years ago, but it brought back memories, emotional memories for when that happened to him. He played at West Texas. Texas El Paso. So what was it back then? Texas
UTEP?
Western.
It may. I don't know when the change went from Texas Western to
UTEP.
Texas El Paso,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So anyway, if anybody go to the Dallas Morning News website, it's a front page story. It's
They had an iconic picture of Dick Buckus standing over him trying to get
right.
Yeah.
It was really good.
And so what year was that?
71.
Okay. Well, also in 71, it would have been about.
It was about the time Texas Stadium opened. By
right.
the way.
Which and 6 days. I think that was like October 24th, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds right.
6 days later was when the TCU head coach, Jim Pittman, died on the sideline of a heart attack.
Oh, really?
In 1971. It was October 30th, 1971. Had a heart attack on the sidelines of a game against Baylor in Waco and passed away at the age of 46.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see the concentration in practice and if they can get back into the routine. I mean, there is a game to play on Sunday. I saw the injury report for early guys missing for the Commanders, and it was lengthy, including their running back, Robinson. But wasn't he coming back from some sort of injury?
I am not sure recently. Of course,
weeks ago,
prior
maybe.
to the season, he was shot and then came back and made a great return. And I haven't checked on
that might have been it.
Yeah.
But it was pretty long, so I don't know. And then my buddy John Kime, that helped write the book that Bill brought up, said that when the part of practice they got to watch, the first drill they did, the reps went to Sam Howell, their rookie quarterback, and then the second drill they did, the reps went to Taylor Heineke. So they were kind of rotating. Sounds like they're planning to play both guys.
Carson threw 3 picks last week.
Oh, yeah.
He hurt
his reputation.
He hurt his reputation and the team.
Right.
So they decided they were making that change and going to take a look.
Now that their playoff chances are kaput.
Yeah. So they may, who knows? As Mike McCarthy said, we'll just get ready for all three and see what happens.
Just like last week, you get ready for whoever you get ready for, and all of a sudden the guy that they signed 8 days ago starts against you.
I mean, that would be amazing if 3 games in a row they faced backup quarterbacks.
That's right. Yeah, with Minshew, the Philadelphia game, and then Joshua Dobbs last week.
Starting again today or this week.
This weekend.
And then we'll see what happens. Now, Heineke was the one that kind of gave them the impetus to contend for that
You could make the
spot.
contention that Heineke is actually their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And
That wasn't the plan to start
He's,
the
not,
season, was
he's
it?
not bad. I mean, he's Minshew.
Yeah.
I mean, there's good quarterbacks. I'm not going to dog these guys because if you throw things on time and you have the weapons they have, then they can be potentially dangerous.
Yeah. No.
But now they talked about the other day comeback player of the year, and they were talking about getting ready for Kyler. I think they said Russell Wilson's going to end up being comeback player of the year.
like they're predicting for next year comeback player. So who's had a horrible season this year?
Yeah.
So those are the candidates for comeback player of the year next year.
But then you think about, you just brought up Robinson. He got shot. Now that's a comeback.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, he should win it hands down.
So he'd be the comeback player of the year this year.
He's got to be. I mean, he's got to be. The man got shot. I mean, he is balling right now.
And that's a mental comeback.
Yeah,
too, right?
come on.
Not just physical.
So I mean, let's just see who wins this. Because if whoever wins it over him, if they win it over him, like man, this guy must have been through fire and come out on the other side unburned.
Okay, so the team will be on the field at 12:15. Okay.
Yep.
So what else did you glean from Mike McCarthy's press conference today, or anything else, even from the coordinators the other day, that you want to bring up to get us started here?
You know, he spent the majority of the first part of the press conference just talking about the players, taking care of the players, talking about just kind of letting them talk, listen.
And I guess the big news we should get to, if we have
Right.
time to here, is the roster moves that were made.
Yeah, they released James Washington. Poor guy.
I know.
mean, he just never had a chance.
I knew that was happening.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it. He had there was a hamstring in the off season. He missed all the off season work, and then the first day of pads, he fractures his fifth metatarsal. Finally gets back. Unfortunately, when they were going to do the ramp up, it was around Thanksgiving. They weren't practicing for a couple games there, so they waited, and then he played in 2 games, 11 snaps in one game, 4 in another. But you know, I think they tried to use him on special teams. The guy's probably not ever played special teams before. And so they ended up releasing him.
Well, I mean,
this
the
morning.
signing of T.Y.
Yeah.
It was inevitable.
And that's why,
Yeah.
right? Because you've got a guy with more experience, more production,
And no injuries.
and looking pretty darn good too, by the way.
The 52-yarder.
So here's the other thing. So obviously they opened up a roster spot. They've got a problem at backup center because they've used 3 different guys off the practice squad, and all 3 have their elevations have expired. It was
Dakota Shepley,
Aviante Collins.
Well, Brock Hoffman
and
is
then
the most recent.
And Brock Hoffman.
And Collins is more of a tackle.
But he had played some center, I think. But his has been used up, so they need somebody to be the backup center. Now, on the practice squad, on injured reserve, is Alec Lindstrom, who is a center. He's only played in 1 game. He's only had 1 elevation. So they could elevate him, or they could sign. If they think these other guys are better, they can sign them to the 53. If they go that direction. So be interesting to see how.
And you would
they handle
think,
this.
well, they're going to obviously with the Biotish injury, they're going to go with. I mean, you're now 1 injury away from this guy actually playing in the game. Before they were
Yes.
2 injuries away.
Because
now,
you would have done what they did, right?
Right.
You moved Connor McGovern.
So it's whoever they consider to be the best candidate to play a full game if the starting center McGovern goes down, early in a game.
Right. So they got to cover themselves.
And Hoffman has
there.
been the most recent one that's been up. So, but that is the roster move that you would anticipate. Why they're making the move now with Washington
Right.
is because they're going to need a roster spot this weekend.
And then we likely, after everybody gets to watch practice, see what they're doing at the tackle position. If they're going to move Tyron to left and then do something at right tackle, if they're going to leave Tyler Smith at guard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is there any part of it with James Washington? Okay, we're now to the last game of the season. Okay,
Right.
If a team doesn't pick him up, okay, he's now. If you have an injury you still have him
Right.
handy, know, and or
So far.
would
Yeah.
there be? Yeah,
Don't go home
Right.
and start working on the ranch
Right.
today.
Right. Don't go out to Stamford yet.
Yeah.
And even over the next several weeks, if he remains out there as a free agent, or you could sign him to the practice squad if you
Right,
wanted
that's
to.
what I was talking about,
Right.
the practice squad. Because you're right. One injury at wide receiver, and
So
you got Tolbert out.
So you're making this decision on okay, at what position do we have the most depth, and at what player may not be picked up? Here's a veteran player,
Yeah.
what team's picking him up who basically hadn't played this year,
Right.
coming off an injury, and so. Even from that standpoint, it seems to be a prudent move as far as a roster manipulation to do that.
Right, because if you sign them back to the practice squad, even though you're technically a free agent, if someone picks them up, they got to pay them 3 weeks, and there's only
One game left.
And then you better you better be in the playoff. But even at that, you'd be paying him if you got beat in the first round, you're paying him another game.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the other thing on James Washington is he was a veteran minimum salary guy,
Right.
and so he's a great young man, and everyone roots for him. And he had the unfortunate injuries, not only in the off season, but as you've detailed, and first day of practice. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is, there wasn't a lot of clamoring for him in free agency in the offseason. He was a veteran minimum guy. This was a prove-it year, and next year is going to be another now prove-it year for James Washington. A lot of times because they are our players, we put more value on them but the bottom line is you follow the money in this league.
Well, we invested in him.
Right.
A lot of time.
Yeah, right.
That's the main thing.
Right.
That's why we look at him as ours.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
it's not just with him, with any players on the roster.
Rehab time.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
that's right.
Months of rehab. Yeah.
Right.
So,
But there's a reason T.Y. Hilton has been T.Y. Hilton for a decade in this league.
yes.
So
And
I was waiting on the T.Y. when he caught the 50.
Does he he does that?
Oh yeah, T.Y.
I
Yeah,
didn't know. He
T.Y.
did the Y.
Yeah, he does that. Yeah, he did it with the Colts.
He's my new favorite player.
Oh,
I
no,
swear
he's
to
a
God.
man. He's
Just
a man.
talking to him, he's great. And then I think the other thing they've got to continue working on is what they do at that third cornerback position. Are they happy with Nashawn Wright? You remember they picked up Mullen. He's been with them, and he's played quite a bit in the league if they're looking for more experience. So interesting to see what they do there. So those two things, center, or actually three, center, tackle, and then what they continue to do at the cornerback position.
I mean, if you're going to pay the guy, you might as well play him. Talking about Joseph.
Oh.
If you need him. I mean, there's no need in just having him there. I know we're
You know what? This kid, he can't get out of his own way, right? He's doing what he's supposed to do, going down, covering the punt, and he's in position to just stand there, and then the punt comes more to his way, and the guy runs into him to catch it.
I know.
And there's a flag.
But you can see the athleticism.
Yeah.
I
He's got speed.
I think it's, once again, if we're paying him, we should go ahead and with the depth problems that we're having.
Right.
We just may be forced to play him, and you're going to have to trust the guy. Eventually, you're just going to have to trust him.
I might trust him in May.
Okay. We'll come back with more of that in a moment. Mickey, you need to go out to the practice field and see who's on the field today. And when we come back here on Mick Shots,
Yes.
we have breaking news from Washington. We will tell you who will start at quarterback for the Commanders against the Cowboys on Sunday at 3:25.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
All righty then. Pro Shops, it's only right that the best fans in the world, in the whole world, get out this world get out of this world gear. Visit your local Dallas Cowboys Pro Shop or log on to shop.dallascowboys.com. A Fanatics experience, and grab Cowboys Nation worthy noodles, hoodies, tees, accessories, and more. All right, that's the best you're going to get out of it.
Well, in Everson's defense, he found out he's reading that like literally as he started reading that. Because Mickey was out on the practice field, and he was, I think that the players actually were blinded by Mickey when he went out on the practice field.
Was that supposed to be Cowboys Nation worthy hoodies?
Yeah, and I said, what did I say?
No, I don't know. You
first I said
tees, accessories,
gear. I didn't say gear right.
More.
Yeah.
That was grab, not gear.
I know.
Yeah, well, he didn't get a chance to proofread it ahead of time.
So I said fees. I was going to say fees, not tees.
Mickey, they stopped practice for you when you went out there in that shirt?
They said,
hoodies looks like noodles.
Let's yield.
Yeah, we got it.
And
I don't think they could see me through the window.
Oh, you were just on this side of the window.
I couldn't go very far.
That's right. You were late as it
Although
was.
I did notice that it looked like Leighton Vander Esch was out there with a helmet on.
Yay!
So that bodes well for the first
2 weeks from
the first week of the playoffs.
Cool.
And he said he would do a little something. So that was good. And Lindstrom, they were going to start his 21-day ramp up. But McCarthy, when he spoke about him,
Farniak, you mean?
Farniak.
You said Lindstrom.
Yeah.
Matt Farniak.
Yeah, that's what I meant. He sounded like, he might be ready. And when I talked to Farniak on Monday, he said, "Yeah, I'm good to go. Now we'll see how much they let me do." So.
Well, it certainly made sense to wait until now on Farniak because of the short weeks, the last couple of weeks.
Right, exactly. Because if they did, they would have wasted a week last week, right? They didn't really practice.
So he could have been ready really 2 weeks ago, and they just waited until the full week to get him a full week of practice.
So that'll be interesting to see if they think, well, he's practiced 3 times this week. He's good to be the backup. You just never know when you need the backup.
Mm-hmm. All right, and with the breaking news from Washington, Ron Rivera has announced who his starting quarterback will be on Sunday against the Cowboys.
Sam Howell.
And they are going with the rookie, Sam Howell.
Wow.
Why not? You got to see.
5th-round draft pick out of North Carolina.
Okay.
McCarthy said he liked what he saw from him at North Carolina.
So no Heineke.
Well, he would probably be the backup, and Wentz would be inactive.
Poor Wentz, he'll be looking for another job next year.
Sam Howell last year at North Carolina had, in 12 starts, 24 touchdown passes, 9 interceptions. He's only 6'1". Let's see, 6'1", 220. And 5th-round draft pick, number 144 pick in the draft this year.
Please don't tell me he runs the football.
Well, last year at North Carolina, he had 828 yards rushing and 11 touchdowns.
That's pretty good.
The Cowboys defense,
he almost
Achilles
got 1,000
heel.
yards.
He had 828 yards rushing in North Carolina last year.
Last year.
In his last year at North Carolina, yes.
Some guy named Sam, huh?
So he had 20-plus passing touchdowns.
He had 9 picks and 24 touchdowns. The previous year, in 2020, he had 30 touchdown passes and 7 picks, but only ran for 146 yards. Probably got sacked a lot. You know, in college, they count the sacks on their rushing totals.
Well, I mean, he could have gotten 1,000 yards rushing.
He could have and got sacked for 1,000 yards. 2019, he had even more touchdowns, 38 touchdowns and 7 interceptions for the Tar Heels. Yards per attempt in 2020, 10.3 yards per attempt. So there you go.
Tell you what, his coach likes to put it up in the air. I know that much. I like that.
Mac Brown.
Mac Brown, that's right. Mac Brown.
He's always his hair down.
Yeah, as soon as he got to North Carolina, he was all offense, no defense. I mean, that's just how they played. I think that 38 touchdown, I think that was around Mac's first year.
He learned that from Lincoln Riley, huh?
Well, Lincoln still needs to learn some things.
That's right. So anything else you see out on the practice field?
They were still stretching. So
okay, you never see anything out there.
I don't know why you guys run out there for stretching. Why you go out there just for stretching?
Well,
and then you leave me hanging.
That's what they. With
my bad eyes and bad light.
That's what they purposely let us watch. That's part of the 20 minutes, right?
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's strategic.
It's like a filibuster.
Strategic.
Mm-hmm. By the way, also the breaking news from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It is confirmed that they will be announcing the 15 modern era player finalists for the class this evening. It was originally scheduled for last night, and out of respect for Damar Hamlin, they postponed it, and now they're going to go ahead and do it tonight at 7 o'clock Central Time on the NFL Network. And of course, Darren Woodson and DeMarcus Ware are among, and Zach Thomas, a former Cowboy, also for the last year of his career.
It's 1 year, right?
We're going to claim Herb Adderley, don't we?
Did you claim Mike?
Yeah, but Herb took us to the bowl.
Actually, I don't know that we claim Herb Adderley.
He doesn't claim us.
Yeah.
He does not claim us. Just so you know,
Mike Ditka.
Oh, you can if you want, though.
I mean, it's not in their media guide.
Do you realize that I was an entire rookie year with Mike Ditka and did not know that he coached here?
What do you mean?
In 81, right? Wasn't he here in 81?
Yeah, because he went to the Bears in like 82.
He was a special teams coach.
You didn't know? Wait. You were a player on the roster.
Special teams as a rookie?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did. He was just...
He was there?
I don't even remember him. I have no thoughts of Mike Ditka.
Well, that was 41 years ago.
Well, no, I mean, even like 20 years ago, I had no thought. I missed him. I missed all of 81. I had balls flying over my head, man. I had stuff to think about.
You were a rookie.
I was a rookie.
Your head was
survival.
swimming.
Yes, it was.
Trying to figure out where my next interception's coming from.
Probably looking for his next meal. Were you still living at home?
Oh, yes. I had no problem with
the meals were good.
Mom was loving. I was loving Mom.
But wait, he was your special teams coach?
I know, and I played. This is my point. This is my dilemma here. I mean, dude, I played. I do the Gunners. I'm on kickoff team like I did my whole career. Field goal block. I don't know. I don't remember him. I don't remember him. I looked at
maybe he just had the title and did something else. Somebody else did.
Maybe I just stayed out of trouble and he didn't yell at me.
Was Alan Lowry there?
Oh, no. Alan didn't get there until we started our demise.
Okay.
Oh, don't say that about my fellow Irvingite.
I'm sorry, man. Oh, Al, man. He had a tough time. he came in with a whole different attitude, and boy, the boys They tore him up.
Alan Lowry.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking Al Levan.
There
so
you go.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Well,
so
good.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thinking Al Levan.
Running backs coach.
Alan Lowry was a star at Irving High School and the University of Texas and a special teams coach.
I remember Alan. Alan.
Let me tell you real quick. You know who taught me how to get in a three-point stance at the Irving YMCA? And it was Alan Lowry. He was playing for he's probably at Irving High School then, maybe a senior in high school, but he was going to Texas.
Yeah.
Or I can't remember. He may have already been at Texas, and he did a clinic at the Irving YMCA. Wow. Alan Lowry taught me how to get into a three-point stance.
He looks great. He just doesn't look that old.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Alan Lowry, I remember. I thought you were talking about Al Levan. No, You come in as a running backs coach.
Hand me that MIDI guide. I need to check one thing before I say it.
Well, Mickey is checking that one thing.
Before he says it.
Yeah. Everson, what is your take on this team coming into this week as far as playing a Washington team that has nothing to play for? What does this team need to play for? Obviously, you're hoping that the Eagles lose to the Giants, who have nothing to play for, and that the Cowboys win. But in getting this team ready for the playoffs, what is it that the Cowboys need to clean up this week?
Whatever they do clean up, they're going – to me, I feel better about them doing it during the game. I feel better about them playing this game as much as they should play it until you realize that it's out of hand. I want them to play this game to win it with starters in the game. We were talking during the break about, I wouldn't say tanking a game, but resting your players for that last season. That just never bodes well to me for the Dallas Cowboys. And you're looking at this team, because of our weird inconsistencies, I think we should play this out. I just don't feel like we are that team that is there. I think we still are hungry. I think we're still better than last year, but we are still not there. And I don't care if you go against a Washington practice team. I don't care what it is. We still need to get out there and stay polished.
Went against a Tennessee practice team last week.
Yeah, and you see what happened. So, no, I think we're always in the position to get better, especially this team. Like Nate said, I think it was last week, we got a young squad. We have a really young squad. I think it's best for us. And I guess I'm old school, Tom Landry, Parcells, Belichick, Eddie Robinson. We just don't rest. We play it out to the end.
I'm right there with you, especially if they've got to have a potential shuffle in the playoffs on that offensive line. Those guys need to play together. You can't just act like, okay, we're just going out, right? And you don't need to be, I'm sure there'll be scoreboard watching or they'll have somebody monitoring the Philadelphia game. But, yeah, just go play.
Just go play.
Right.
Go play and win. Don't go out there with any other alternatives like, don't go out there thinking I can just, take it easy here. Don't get sloppy in your technique. Diggs need to – guys like Diggs, they need to take this game, and really mentally be where you're supposed to be.
Right.
And right now, Diggs is not mentally where he needs to be. He's guessing. He thinks he's smarter than everybody else. So we all do.
And they're getting them.
Yeah, they are. And you don't need that going into the playoffs nor in the playoffs. So all of those guys that are not quite where they need to be, your season didn't end where it started. Guys like Dorrance Armstrong still playing well, but not getting the pressure that we're accustomed to getting. This is the time to go ahead and shore that up. See if you can better yourself this game better than you've been doing the last 2 weeks.
Which, by the way, Dorrance had a pretty hectic week last week because his family was getting ready to. He was getting ready to have his not him, but first child, and I think he left here on Tuesday. His daughter was born. Oh, maybe it was Tuesday. He was there Wednesday, and then he had to fly on his own from here to Tennessee on Thursday, the morning of the game.
Yeah.
And I looked at him. I said, "I take you we're on Southwest." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, I mean, he was like beaming. He said it was great, but it was pretty hectic having to fly and then play that in that game. And he actually showed up a little bit. But
so
you're right.
He's a Capricorn.
Well, if it was that week, yeah,
she's a Capricorn.
Absolutely.
Hey,
but he's still
Capricorn.
holding at 8 sacks, and he started off pretty well. The guy that's been coming on is Dante Fowler. But what I was going to say is, and I keep harping on these last several games, they haven't had many sacks. They had 2 games with no sacks. I think one with 1, and then last week they had 2.
Yes.
So it's like, come on, pick up the pace. Well, I looked and I was thinking they were at 45 at some point. Well, they're at 51 now. And I just happened to, kind of peruse 51 sacks. Well, they had 59 in 2007. So this is the most since 2007. And it's the second most since, if you don't count the strike season in 87, this is the second most since 86 when they had 53. So not only were you guys kind of intercepting passes in 85, 86, but they had 53 sacks that year.
They tend to come with each other.
Yeah, right.
Hand in hand.
They just tend to accompany each other.
And speaking of sacks, Donovan Wilson has the most sacks of any safety this year, 5, and he's matched Bill Bates' single-season safety record at 5.
Wow, Bill Bates has a single-season record.
He had 5, I think it was 84 maybe. But, that was the record for a safety.
Nice.
Because they didn't really blitz the safeties that much, did they, back then? And then Bates didn't play much after. I mean, when Jimmy got here, I remember every year offseason, Bates was just frantic. I don't know if I'm going to make the team. They don't want to keep an old guy.
He said
like
that for
this.
17 years.
Right? Yeah, right. And he would always make it, right? But then when they got to the Super Bowl, finally, he had tore his ACL. I don't remember if it was in the playoff game or right before the season ended, and he couldn't play. And I can remember him telling the story of when they were out there for the national anthem in Pasadena for the Super Bowl 27. He was out there, and he was trying to show him he could run. It's like, Bill, you can't
He never could run.
No.
So that's bad.
Which is another thing. When this happened, I was thinking of the different injuries I've seen that are, have been really serious. And I remember him that one year, and you would have been there. It was a preseason game, and they were going to have him return punts. And he ran right up the middle as fast as he can. And Bill, he wasn't going to avoid anybody.
No.
And he got slammed, and he tells the story, he was knocked out, right? And they said when they got to him, he was snoring on the field. We shouldn't laugh about it.
I know, right?
But it's
we
got
to stop.
It's a strange,
back then,
strange
that's the way it was.
story. And you mentioned Michael, and then the wide receiver that was from Arkansas. The guy was it Armstrong? He fractured his kneecap twice, and he did the second one when we were in training camp, and he did it right in front of me, and I swear to God I heard it. I probably didn't, right? But you've seen when a guy goes down like that.
Yeah.
I just don't remember his name.
Is there an Anthony Armstrong?
Anthony?
I'm not sure. We'll look it up, and I've got an update for you as we go to break here.
Okay.
On Damar Hamlin, the Buffalo Bills have issued a statement saying that Damar remains in the intensive care unit in critical condition with signs of improvement noted yesterday and overnight. He is expected to remain under intensive care as his healthcare team continues to monitor and treat him. And, of course, we keep Damar Hamlin in our thoughts and prayers. Let's go to break, and we'll wrap up Mick Shots in just a moment.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere Zero Turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more. Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. From corporate homes to your home. Have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, 214-225-4860. KPostCompany.com. And I said it without yelling like Mickey does all the time.
No intonation, just kind of flat.
Mickey, what are you looking for in that media guy?
He's looking for that guy.
I was looking for that.
That cracked his kneecap twice.
From Arkansas? An Arkansas wide receiver?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're back on the air now, Mickey.
I got to give up. I can't be stubborn.
Yeah, maybe you can tweet it out or something.
Do you have more breaking news
afterwards
or something?
No, we're caught up on our breaking news items.
One thing I will say about what's going on now, I think the better that Mr. Hamlin gets, I think the tension will ease around the entire league. You know, I would imagine things do hang on his recovery. I mean, you know, just as far as mentally in regards to all the players around the league. You know, if something would have, if he would have passed on during that game, you got a whole different thing going on in the league. And the fact that he is getting better, I think the players talking and all of that, the fact that he's getting better, I think those conversations go a little bit easier. They're a little bit better. But if something, you know, if he takes I don't even say it, if things would have been different, then I think our attitude in this room and around the whole league would have been different.
You know, they had his, I believe it was his uncle that helped give a update last night out by the hospital that while he was still in critical condition, they had reduced the amount of oxygen he was getting from 100% to 50%.
That is excellent.
So they were trying to encourage his lungs to take over, and I guess they were trusting him. So that was encouraging. But again,
and is it my understanding that they take 48 hours to try to keep him as stable as possible,
right?
And then so that you get past that 48 hours will be tonight,
right?
So
and they need to kind of calm him down to test him,
right?
He had to go through all those tests. So
well, that's why that's why they put him to sleep.
Of course,
yeah, so they could insert the breathing tube. So yeah, it just kind of creates a pall over everything. And I'm sure guys, I mean, I don't know if we're going to get to talk to them, but how into practice can you be? Just thinking about it.
And it's not just what you saw on the field; it's how everyone relates to it individually.
Yeah,
everyone has a memory, a story of what they saw besides what happened the other night, and they compare that to it. And so they'll see that. They might go to thinking about what happened with their parents when they were in the hospital, or a tragedy from a family member. They start, it all brings up those kind of memories. So it's not just football.
Right.
It goes way outside of that, because now you're talking about, okay, man, that looked just the way my mom, when they tried to help her out or something like that. So it's tough, because it brings up everything that you're afraid to bring up.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody here yesterday, and they were, seeing it, right? And it's like, well, we went through that 2 years ago with Marcus Paul.
Right.
And then it dawned on me when we were back at the ranch, John Chang was the same thing when he, I believe he had a brain aneurysm or a stroke, and he fell out.
And he was the head of the TV department.
Yeah, and he fell out right there in the hallway. It brings back those memories. And, I think you said it yesterday about, when you're that young, you don't normally see people pass away.
Hopefully.
Right? Yeah. And I remember when we had the bus crash, 2016, going to training camp, when we got out of the bus and we were all, okay, except for Emery's arms all cut up, and went running back to see if we could help the people in that car. And when I got within 10 yards, it was like, I can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And my young guys, I told them, do not look. And they looked.
Yeah.
And it affected them.
It stays with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And that's the thing with this. It played out on national television.
We all saw it.
For everyone to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. We're out of time on this edition of Mick Shots. Keep Damar Hamlin in your prayers.
Yes, sir.
And we'll be back again tomorrow at noon for another edition of Mick Shots.
Hey, wait.
We got one more?
One more. I wanted to thank all the people on Twitter that came to my defense, pointing out when the tweet came out with my column, the backlash was really bad, but lately everybody said, hey, we know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate everybody sticking up for me.
That's cool, because, they were on you, man. They were on you, bro. Like, man, what just happened? You didn't even know what's going on.
What did that guy do?
Who is this bum they're talking about?
All right.
Anyway, now we're done.
Okay, and Mickey will never tweet again.
Yeah, right.
Even though he didn't tweet then, he's never going to do it again. All right, and we'll chat at you again tomorrow on Mick Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?